What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am PJ. So, I was reviewing the video that I shot before breakfast that's going to go up on Patreon, and I felt compelled. I felt led by the Holy Spirit to talk to you all about this thing. Why? Truth, I have a much larger audience here on YouTube than I do on Patreon. So the word goes to more people on YouTube, but I talk about things much more in depth on Patreon I don't have to deal with trolls, with people who appreciate it, right? So we talk about different things. And in today's video, I was talking about serious preppers, regular preppers, the vast majority of Americans. If you're not an American, that's fine. Just kind of extrapolate what I'm saying to your situation. And this is a message to you, sitting there munching on Doritos and drinking a Diet Coke. I don't think you're taking this seriously enough. I really don't. That's kind of like the bottom line up front. We live in a time, and I am older than most of you. Not all of you, but I am older than most of you. And we live in a time that we have not seen in my lifetime, where the potential for rapid, vast changes is here. It's never been as high. We are on the verge of World War III. Some would say we're already in World War III, but I'm talking about a kinetic World War III. We are on the verge in this country of political turmoil. Some would say we're already in it. I'm talking about kinetic. We're on the verge of totalitarian globalists trying to take over and do these things, and some would say they're already doing it. We are on the verge of perhaps a real pandemic. We're talking Book of Revelation horseman stuff, and it's all right there. Matter of fact, I think I can hear the hoofbeats approaching. This is not one of those videos to get you all amped up, and it's not. I'm just telling you the world as I see it. And now the trolls will make comments. Too many people, too many of you say, yep, I'm a prepper, or I'm interested in prepping, or it amuses me, or you silly old geezer, or what do people call me? A boomer. I am a boomer. Blah, blah, blah. You know, why are you watching the video? You know why you're watching the video? Those people? Because you know deep down inside that you need to get ready and that you are underprepared. And I submit that most preppers in America are unprepared for what's coming. That's you. Most of you. Most of you within the sound of my voice are unprepared for what's coming. And I want you to be prepared. I want you to be better prepared. No one can be prepared for everything. I want you to be better prepared than you are. My audience on Patreon is different than this audience. There are some of you here that are barely into preparedness. Let's start there. The first thing you need to do is make sure you have enough food and water in your house that you do not have to leave your house for 2 weeks. You can eat and drink for 2 weeks, and medication, if you take it, in your house for 2 weeks. I was a firefighter for 10 years. I did more medical calls than house fires. I was in a lot of houses. It amazed me at the lack of food in most people's houses. And I lived kind of country, kind of a little bit rural. It just amazed me. You need to have enough food right off the get-go. You could solve this problem today. You should have food and water for 2 weeks for everybody in your household. That's like a bare minimum. The Red Cross, FEMA, Department of Homeland Security tells you that. Matter of fact, they basically say have a month's worth of food. So I'm talking to you. You should have 2 weeks, food and water. The water is calculated at 14 gallons per person, a gallon per person per day, 2 weeks. So 14 gallons per person of your household, and then food for 2 weeks. And then they say you should have a grab-and-go kit, already packed, ready to go, with 72 hours of food per person. So that's another 3 days. That we call that a bug-out bag. They say you should have 72 hours worth of food in your car. How am I going to do that? Coast Guard rations. And they say you should have 72 hours worth of food at your work. You start adding all that up, you're approaching a month's worth of food that they want everybody to have, not preppers. The people you see at Walmart, they want them to have that much food. What you got? And so if they're telling the low-level, mouth-breathing segment of this population have almost a month's worth of food, you think you probably want more than that? So what I'm telling you is you don't have enough food. You should start stocking up on food. You can get up to a year's supply of food without buying any special survival food. Just buy stuff in cans and boxes and jars in your grocery store. Most of that will last a year. Get some food, because here's why. Here is why. If there's zombies outside roaming the streets, it's a metaphor. If there's zombies outside roaming the streets and it is dangerous out there, and you have the ability to stay behind locked doors and not go out because you've got all the food, water, and medicine that you need, a lot of that problem outside your doors is going to resolve itself in a month. Right? And so that will lessen your exposure to bad things. So that's something you can do. Another thing you can do is start learning medical. Do you know first aid? If somebody is goofing around in the kitchen and they fall with a butcher knife in their hand and their blood is going bzzzt, 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 do you know what to do? When there is no 911, when there is no 999 in England, when there is no, I think it's still that, right? When there is no ambulance to call, it's on you. There's no hospital to go to. Do you know how to take care of that? An easy way, it's not easy, a simple way to think about what you need to know how to do, what you need to be able to handle on your own, because make no mistake, you're going to be on your own. No one is coming to help you when what's coming comes. A simple way is look at how life was in the 1800s. Can you operate at that level? I'll even go further. 1800s on the frontier. Could you live 1800s on the frontier? Can you build a fire? Do you know how to use a fire? Can you cook over a fire? Do you know the different kinds of fire? These are all things that don't need to cost a lot of money that you can start practicing now, or seek out people who know these things and have them teach you. Actually learn, instead of just taking in information from your phone or computer or laptop or whatever. Actually get out there and get your hands dirty. Learn to do some stuff. I say, one of my things that I say a lot, 3 things are going to get you when this comes: starvation, people behaving badly, and medical issues. You need to address those 3. And you need to do it now. Now. All the cool survivalist bug-out bag AR-15 with a bazillion Gugas on it because I'm an operator, yo. All that stuff. Food, water, medicine, and yes, there are going to be people behaving badly, but I'm telling you, your best option for dealing with poorly behaving people is to not be around them. Don't be where they are. And yes, if the time comes, then you have to defend yourself. But there are too many prepper survivalists that put too much emphasis on firearms and accessories. It's like Barbies for men. Ooh, look, I can put this on and take this off. I can put this on. I can spray paint it like this. It's a tool. You ever see Robert De Niro, who is very anti-gun in real life, but he has a line in that movie Ronin, and the guy's like the faker, the poser, the stolen valor dude who said he was an SAS, and Robert Duvall figures out, not Duvall, De Niro figures out really quickly that he wasn't, and he's like, oh, what do you like? What kind of gun do you like? And he's like, I don't care. I mean, he says a 45, but really I don't care. It's just a tool, man. It is just a tool. Don't get overly fixated on that. Believe it or not, when this all comes down, however that happens, when this all comes down, I know this is horrifying to some of you. You may not ever have to pull a trigger, but you are going to have to eat. You are going to have to eat. People, go grocery shopping and buy a bunch of food. Food that will last. Food that you normally eat. Now, that used to be a thing. You know, the golden rule of food storage: buy what you eat what you buy, thus ensuring that you rotate through it, and keep it cool, dark, dry, insect-free, right? The problem is too many of you eat out. You can't go buy Taco Bell, you can't go buy Chili's, you can't go buy this, that, or the other and store it up. So here's something simple you can learn how to do. Make your own darn food. Start being responsible for yourself. You know, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and an apple and a bottle of water, you can take that to work for lunch. You'd be much better off than what most of you are doing. And then finally, for this video, you need outdoor clothing. I'm not talking LL Bean, Mountain, whatever the heck, every butt face people wear, North Face. I'm not talking about high-end designer gear. I'm talking about rugged clothing. If you lived in a rural area, you would know exactly what I was talking about. Where I am here in the Ozarks, you go into town and you see what rugged clothing is because everybody wears it all the time. It's life. They're not posing. Their rugged clothing is worn. Take a drive out to the country. Go to some little town. Walk around. Look what people are wearing. Get some rugged clothing. Get some boots. Get some pants that, you know, will last. Not some little yoga pant things. Why? Because you're going to be living much of your life outdoors in whatever the environment is. Hot, cold, middle. And it just, so many Americans just don't have adequate clothing. I'll leave you with this. I said on Patreon yesterday as part of something we were talking about, you should have the ability for me to say go and your whole family to load up your car within half an hour and go camping for 3 weeks without any devices, no electricity, roughing it. Preparing food, shelter, living. If you want chairs, that's fine. You know, if you want to take a cooler ice, that's fine. You should have the ability to go camping for 3 weeks. Part of that's clothing, right? All right. I just felt heavy on my heart, gang. You're not doing enough. You're not. It's time to amp it up. Take this more seriously. You have this time. This is a gift. This time you have now is a gift. Consider it as such, value it as such, and use it. Get ready. Maybe I'll see you out there.